After IT services firm Accenture announced that it would lay off 19,000 employees globally, Indian IT professionals took to one of their community apps to vent their worries. Panic and anxiety at peak. That was the message from one employee at Accenture, which has more than 300,000 employees in India, one of its largest offshore centers. Of the 19,000 job cuts, over half will be from non-billable functions. According to another IT employee, most firms were likely to follow Accenture's lead, arousing fears that layoffs could also be seen at Indian IT players. Their worries aren't unfounded, since analysts say that Accenture's actions will reflect in the workings of Indian IT firms because they all follow a similar business model. One prominent staffing company Business Standard spoke to earlier said that given the exuberant hiring of previous years, workforce restructuring and resizing were inevitable now, given the current softening in business. In 2020 and 2021, the pandemic-induced enthusiasm around digitization and technology drove companies into a hiring spree. The top 6 IT services firms witnessed net headcount additions of more than 86,000 in the September quarter of 2021. At that time, this was the highest pace of quarterly additions in 8 years. It was also 4 times higher than the 19,000 additions in the same quarter of 2020. Against this backdrop, what did the expert we spoke to have to say about the possibility of layoffs?
So we don't see any sizable layoffs in the near future, but it all depends on whether the banking contagion spreads to other parts of the US economy. Indian IT providers are heavily indexed towards North America. If the banking contagion leads to a recession in the economy, which is quite likely, we will see some layoffs, maybe 2 to 5% layoffs, because discretionary spending in IT will be dramatically cut.
Indian engineers have already been hit hard, with tech giants like Meta, Amazon, Alphabet, and Microsoft laying off employees. However, Indian IT workers also received some respite when, in February, the Chief Human Resources Officer of Tata Consultancy Services, Milind Lakkad, told a news agency that the company was not considering any layoffs. TCS, the country's largest IT firm, employs over 600,000 people. Accenture, which follows a September to August financial year, also said that its hiring for the third quarter would probably be minimal. Other IT firms are also thinking along similar lines, with TCS and Wipro reporting negative headcount growth in the third quarter of FY23. Infosys's hiring numbers were also soft for the same period. Meanwhile, several IT players are yet to visit campuses to hire freshers. There are also concerns about the broader health of Indian IT firms. The banking sector crisis in the US and Europe is likely to affect their FY24 growth momentum. Just like Accenture, India's largest IT firms, TCS, Infosys, Wipro, and HCL Tech are all big in the BFSI space. The broader industry also counts BFSI as its largest customer base. According to NASSCOM, the segment constituted 41% of the industry's revenue in FY23. The worry is that the crisis is likely to impact deal flows and pricing. Against this backdrop, what do experts have to say about the health of Indian IT?
Even though there is a heavy dependency on BFSI sector for most of the Indian IT companies with a varying degree, I would say that, it's a kind of a wait and watch kind of a situation. But at this point in time, they have a healthy pipeline. One sector goes down, the other sectors are performing well. And given the fact that, the Indian IT companies have been smart enough to navigate through a lot of challenges which they have faced in the past, and they are quite innovative in terms of re-engineering their capabilities in order to deal with a particular challenge. I'm confident that they will be able to navigate comfortably as they did in the in past 1 decade.
So I would be more bleak about quarters ahead because in addition to spend contraction, clients around the world are adopting automation at scale. Automation at scale actually puts at risk the easy jobs which our Indian IT industry does, which is mostly application maintenance, infrastructure support. So I would be far more pessimistic about the future. I think Indian IT industry really needs to transform its product offerings if it needs to grow at scale as customers look to optimize IT budgets with automation.
While the demand environment is slowing down, there are still opportunities that Indian IT can tap into. While an ICICI Securities report cautioned that there could be a delay in deal signings or their conversion to revenue in the coming quarters, it also added that Indian IT companies could benefit from clients being focused on cost optimization deals. Meanwhile, a Kotak Institutional Equities report said that TCS, Infosys, LTI Mindtree, and Mphasis in particular could stand to gain amid the focus on core modernization.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.